It's here. I am so excited it's here. I've actually got 2 boxes from Andy at Angel Wing Designs. He has taken my files that, remember in the last video we did a new wing for the Panther jet using Wing Helper. I sent him the DX files and this is what's come back. So excited. He's promised me he's not tinkered with them. You are seeing this just as I'm unopening this. I've had this sat on my kitchen for about 4 or 5 days. I promised myself and I promised everybody that had spoken to me about it. Oh wow. This is all done with the Wing Helper. Get to the chopper! So the first thing is oh wow. Look at that. Unbelievable. Right, so that's the plan, and this is, you can do this. This has come via Wing Helper. Andy's put the thing on the top for me, bless him. Now that's what we got. Oh, ooh. I'm not going to lie, my hands are absolutely shaking. I'll be honest here, never thought I'd get to the day where I'd be able to use some computer software. Right, let me get the camera set up slightly differently so it's easier for you guys to watch. Right, these are those spars, and you remember I said I was going to build this. This is the build tab which you add, which has done it. Look, it's got the slope and everything angled correctly. So they are the main spars, slotted spars, and this is the build tab on the bottom. So I've got 2 of those. Oh look, there's my ribs all cut out with the wing joiners and the build tabs, and there's another set there. Oh, look at that. There's my sheeting. A bit more, has all the sheeting for the top wing, the bottom wing, so there's all the sheeting. And then I've got the trailing edge. And then we've got, there's the control surfaces. Look at that. And he's very kindly just planed that down to suit for me. So I've got 2 control surfaces at the back. There's my leading edges. So I went for dowel leading edges. And this is the tubes, which I'm obviously going to cut myself, but Andy had this kicking around, so so that's going to be my wing joiner. Oh. Buzzing, literally buzzing. To think, look, it's even got the, so there's got the cut out for the leading edge sheeting. Wow, interesting, very interesting. Wow. Obviously they're not numbered because that's a skill I haven't got to just yet, but I'm sure we'll get to that. But I need to ask the chap Alex if it's possible to, no, I don't know if it's possible to number them with the software, but wow. I must stop saying wow. Right, so that's my that's the wing kit. Just cleaned up the ribs, hardly needed any touching at all, and then I've just laid them out in their positions. I've just put a little light pencil mark of where everyone goes. Now I'm going to get the spar and I'm going to come up with a technique for putting it all together. I've also just put some tape down on any critical glue areas, the trailing edge where the spars are. So let's see if we can get one of these, get the main spar in. Right, I've got my spar in place, and then I've just used a little bit of blue tack. I could, if I'd have had it, a little bit of square section either side and pinned it, but I quite like using blue tack. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this one in and get this one centered properly. When I'm happy with it, then I'm going to pin this, and then I'm going to do the tip one, and that's just going to hold the whole thing together, make sure everything's square, and then we can crack on. So I've got the main ribs in, tip and main, and now all I'm going to do is I'm using this wood glue that I get from Angel Wing Designs, and I'm just slowly working my way down, checking that they're square, they're sitting properly. I've got to be honest here, I still can't believe I've done this. It's just, oh dear. So excited. Oh, that pitter-patter you might hear, that'll be a seagull on the roof, because my next door neighbour likes to feed them. They get buttered toast every morning. Yep. She gets up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the local seagulls get fed buttered toast. How quickly is this wing going together? I've got to be honest with you, I've almost got to calm down a little bit here, because when I've done these, I'm going to stop and think about it, is what I'm going to do about wing joining. But at the moment, nothing is getting in my way at the moment. But I would definitely suggest, if you're keen to have a go with the wing helper, I'm not paid. I literally stumbled across it while looking at some other software, which we will talk about once I've got a certain object installed and I'm a little bit more experienced. Basically, I know what I'm talking about, but at the moment I'm just buoyed with the excitement of this, my own wing. Wow, one more and we're done. That is my basic wing now. I'll be honest with you, I'm absolutely gagging to drop the leading edge in, but I am thinking I perhaps ought to hold my horses just to let this dry a little bit before I put the leading edge in. Wow. Right, I know I should wait for the ribs to dry, but I can't help myself. I've come up with a foolproof plan for doing these, doing this leading edge. And my theory is if I do it all now, then it's all going to be locked together. Well, that's the plan anyway. I'm just going to put this here like so, that just a little bit of weight on the leading edge, and then this is going on here like so, and I'm going to hold that in place, and then I'm going to bring that weight up against it. I'm going to get that in place like so and put that weight, that weight up against it, making sure that it's all nice and square. And I'm going to put this bit of weight here. Oh, get in! Right, the morning after. Am I going to regret having rushed it all? Now, looking round at it, it all sitting down on the bench, looking absolutely superb. So, the next plan of action is I am going to now remove this, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the trailing edge. But I want to talk to you why I'm doing that, because it's always a good idea to think about it before we start rushing onto it, Nick. So let's get this unpinned, and then I'll get back to you to show you what it looks like. There it is. I tell you what, I mean, I didn't put the trailing edge on yet, it's quite stiff. Sorry, I know it's. I need to calm down just a little bit, but that's me. Mostly I have some sort of label on me these days. Now, trailing edge. Now, so you'll notice that the trailing edge at the tip rib here is quite thick, and then down this end is very thin. So if you remember, we are sheeting this bit, so obviously we've got to accommodate in the spar, in the trailing edge spar, the sheeting top and bottom, but not on the outside. So what I plan to do is this. Let me show you. I am now going to flip it over, and I am just going to get that so it's, if I just do that like that. Right, so I'm going to need a bit more weight. I'm going to put that over there like that, and then I'm then going to whack the trailing edge on, because what that does, actually, if I look at that there, if that's touching, that one's just touching there, that goes on there like so. Right, so that, you get the theory. So the idea is that the sorry, it's got to go like that. So that's the theory, is we're going to weight that down like so, and then if we look at this other end, I've got a gap for the sheeting top and bottom. So that's the next plan. I'm just gonna, if I'm feeling brave, I'll even talk you through it, but let me just get myself set up first, and then we'll come up with a plan. But I've just realised I want to be able to do this where I've got some sheeting, some plastic protection on it. Right, new day, new wing. let me just show you what I've got up to. So basically I did the right hand wing, and I think the last bit of the video you saw I just cheekily got all excited and put the leading edge on. I then left that one, and then let me just talk you through what we've actually done, because I've actually finished 2 wings of the same. I've got to remember is obviously we're not building this with any instructions, so we've got to make the instructions in our head as we go along. So let me just quickly show you this, and then I'm going to talk you through what it is I'm doing. Right, I'm doing it like this because it just saves a load of editing, to be honest with you. Right, now, right wing, left wing. Can I just say that when I push those out, they're not finished off yet, but these, like, look, oh, superb. Honestly, I'm so pleased. Right, shut up, Nick. So I have checked these. I've got the wing dowel, the wing tubing, and I've checked all of these. Look how these just literally go on there. Right, so what I've got to do, we need, I think just here is going to be a little sheet piece here to sit the wing servo on, and then I'm going to obviously need to put a small hole here and a small hole here for the wire. Now, something worth remembering, I need to make some notes, is that in a future build I need to actually make an allowance for the servo wires, so that if I'm doing that, it's something to think about. You know, you've got to think of the general picture. So here we go, small table for the servo, and then I'm going to add these 2 tubes for left and right. We're going to add the magnets to hold them together, and then when I've done all of that, I'm going to then do the top sheeting, wick the tabs off underneath, and then do the bottom sheeting, and obviously then take this off here, which is the building bracket for the bottom. Right, so that's what we're going to do. As much as possible, I'll try and video it as I go along, because I've been cognizant of the fact that, you know, sometimes I might build something and I go, oh right, done this, we've just done this, done that. Because this is my first wing, what I'd really like to do is I'd really like to take you on the journey. Now, it might make this a longer video, but I just think I think people would be more interested in that. If you like that style, because it just means I don't have to do so much editing, so it's like more just me whipping on but doing stuff, just make a point in the comments if that's the sort of style of thing you like. Anyway, let's crack on. I think there's enough scrap in the actual wing ribs templates to actually do something. Also, servos, I'm using standard 5 gram servos from Angel Wing Designs, and they are going to sit on there really nice. So let's crack on. So this is what's left of the wing ribs. This is 2.5mm balsa, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit that on there like so. Get my pencil and then mark a line, and then what we'll do is we'll get the servo, and then we'll just get the servo so it's just underneath the surface of the ribs. So I'm just going to cut that piece out that I've marked. Don't be tempted to do 2, because although obviously my wing design is absolutely superb, I would actually measure them up individually, just in case you have got a little bit of, let's call it driftage. And then that's going to go on there like so. Ugh. Now then, so this is just going to pop in here. Oh, look at that. So that's not going to be that big, all I'm going to do now. So that's what we've actually got, like so. And then I'm just going to get myself a servo. And what I'm going to plan to do is just put the servo here, but it's just sitting underneath the covering like so. So I'm going to get as close to the top as possible, because then we get the maximum amount of the arm poking through. And then I mean, I could be clever and, you know, put one with a bit of a sheet over the top of it. That might be an idea. Sandwich it in. It's interesting, isn't it? You've got to think of all these things when you're actually making a kit. Like I've always said, my hat goes off to kit manufacturers. Right, now I'll tell you what we'll do. That fits beautifully in that corner. That's going to fit in, hang on a minute, that's going to fit in there like so. So I think if we just finish that square across there, that will be plenty. Apparently this is the new way to do things on YouTube. It's called old man editing, apparently. So you don't do any editing. The idea is you just carry on building, whittling away, chatting away to everybody. There you go. Look at that. Let me just get this in the right. There you go. So we're going to stick that in there like so. We have actually, if we wanted to, I haven't got quite enough to do that, but I think I don't want to overcomplicate this. What I might do is, when we've done the sheeting and we've got this fixed, I'm not going to put the servo in yet, but if we've got the got some sheeting left and it will go inside there, I might do it. But quite frankly, at the moment I want to keep it simple, I want to keep it safe and easy. I think we're going with that. So I'm just going to glue that in now, and then let me just get the height right. Oh, look at that, cracking. Yeah, that's going to work nicely. What we can do is make sure now, just got to be careful I'm using a bit of Sino because that's a fairly quick thing to do. But what we don't want is we don't want the Sino dripping down into the build table, because otherwise that's going to make it really difficult to cut that off. But there you go. I now have one servo mount. Oh, I'm such a dick sometimes. I'm looking at these going, oh well done Nick. Then the little voice in my head says, why didn't you push that right to the top, drill a hole for the arm, and then put the servo underneath? Next time. Or if ever you see me on the slope, you have my permission to remind me of it. Anyway, so the next thing we're going to do now is we are going to cut 4 lengths of this to fit in here. And what I am going to do is I am going to finish that dowel. Let's see if I got enough. I was just wondering if I got enough, I could finish that there. No, what I was thinking was if I was to finish that there, then that's a perfect stop, but I don't think I've got enough material for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them to that length there, and then little scrap of balsa just over the end as an end plug. Right, so I have cut the length of the tubes to fit. A couple of top tips here is where I've used the file just to taper the edge. You might end up with a little bit of burr on the inside. You get a super sharp knife like this, and then you can deburr the inside like so. So I'm going to deburr those. Now, what we're going to do is I don't want the carbon rod that's going to go in these, obviously going sort of through and damaging the rib. So I'm just fitting some end plates. I've got a tiny little bit of veneer here. And what I'm going to do, that's this here, I've cut these, and I don't want to do it with the tubes in place. You don't want the cyno getting down in the tubes. So I am literally going to glue that onto there. So one there, one on the other wing. So I'm just going to whack those in place. So it's not mega heavy, but that is strong enough to stop the rod pushing through, because it's quite nice little bit of veneer from my late father. And I am just going to, there you go, little bit of cyno. I'm going to do the same for exactly the same with the other ones here. So let's just pop that in there. Get myself, the clamp is literally just to keep this in place. Pop that on there like that. And then smash a bit of cyno on it. Lovely. Right, I'm just going to finish these off, and then we'll talk about the magnets and the top sheeting and the bottom sheeting. But this is all good. Can I just say, this heater I've got, it stays at a cracking 22 degrees. I'm almost sad that the the summer's coming. That I'm not going to need to use it anymore. But so economical, and I've got to say, if I had the opportunity to find somewhere I could fit one of those heaters in my house, I tell you I would do. That would save a lot of money. Sorry, I got. Right, I put my wing dowels in like so. I've made myself the 2 carbon rods, which well, I made 2 carbon rods which Andy very kindly sent me. So I've just beveled the ends. That's popping in there like so. The wing tubes are not glued in at the moment, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. So that's going in there like that. This goes in here like this. Oh, come on. Come on. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to mark off a little hole on one side of the wing for a couple of magnets. Then I'm going to, when it's all pinched together, I'm just going to transfer that hole to the other side, and we're going to drop a magnet in here. I think I'm going to drop a magnet in here. Well, 4 magnets, 2 magnets either, or a magnet either side. Then I'm going to go and do the sheeting. So this will all get glued in when I'm happy. And right, so wing magnets. I'm quite in a fortunate position. I get in my profession, I get given lots of magnets. It's a different story, I'll tell you one day. Anyway, there's the 2 magnets. I aborted that hole because I thought that's going to be too thin, but I will have sheet top and bottom. Anyway, here's the 2 magnets that I've put in. They're not glued. I'm now going to pop the magnets out. I'm going to join the wing back together, and then I'm just going to get my pencil from this side and then draw an opposing hole on the other side of the rib. Then that gives me the position for all 4 magnets, making sure I get the orientation right. And then what I'm going to do is each magnet on the inside, I'm just going to back with a little bit of this very thin veneer of ply that I've got. So that's going to drop down inside. So that's going to go on the inside like so. That will provide some support and a better area for me to add the glue, and then glue it from the inside. So I'll just going to line these up, get the other 2 stuck in. Nick, make sure you got the orientation right, and then when I've done those, and then we'll get back to the sheeting. Okay, I have glued on that top sheet. That went really well. I've hot glued using my Ryobi recharge, well, cordless. I really rate these. I'll tell you what I like about it. Can get a little bit hot for foam, just need to be a bit careful with that, but the trigger is quite nice and controlled with the trigger. So yeah, I think they're about 30-40 quid. The other nice thing is obviously this is just the same batteries I use on my drills, the edge trimmer and everything else. Right, so that's glued in, and I've decided I've just got a little slot here just for the servo cable. Now I have got my sheet. I've managed to put the slot in there. I've centered my servo, make sure I've got the orientation around the right way. So let me just show you what we're going to do next. So that's my main panel bed of sheeting, and then I've cut this the same way. Interesting enough, the offcut from the main piece, I just slid that there because the angle was the same. Oh, funny that. So I'm now going to, let's just glue these in place. And I'm using this PVA wood glue that I get from Angel Wing Designs. Just gonna glue this. Gonna do the whole thing. Right, here is my first bit of sheet just going on. These pins, by the way, I got these from Leeds Model Centre. And I've got to say, it's an absolutely, I mean, I know some people might think a pin is a pin, but I quite like these because they're quite sharp, but they're quite thin, and they don't appear to buckle when you're putting them in place. So all I'm going to do, put these in here. I am going to add some extras in a moment. There you go. So I'm just going to put a couple more in here for luck. There you go. So that's one piece in, and then I've already pre-glued the existing bit, and that's going to drop in there like so. Oh god, look at that. It's absolutely, I'm not even sure I need to pin that, but I will do. Fitting beautifully into there. That text message, that'll be NASA. They'll be wanting me to knock out a few designs for them. Wow. I'll tell you what I normally like to do is just have a quick look underneath to make sure everything's glued and everything's touching. Oh, right, I am now going to be a good boy, I promise. I'm just going to put a little bit of weight down on here with the ruler, like so. And I promise that I am now going to leave that for this evening, and we're just going to let that glue. Well, good morning, unpinned. Oh, look at that. I am pretty chuffed with that. So we've now done that top sheet. I'm now just got to do the bottom sheet. So that's going to need me to remove these build tabs, and then this build tab for the main spar, and then the sheeting is going to be exactly the same. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove all these. You don't need to see me do that, and then I'll just get back to you when I'm just doing that last bit of sheet. You might be looking at this at the moment going, ooh, me that's big. I'm umming and ahhing about whether to keep it like that or whether to make it thinner. This is just a prototype glider, so this is a proof of concept glider. I don't want to spend the next 15 years on it. I want to get out there, fly it, but at the moment, yeah, things are going good, so I'll get back to you shortly. Right, one wing finished, second wing finished. Sheeting went really well, actually. I was really pleased with that. Now, I've got to show you this. Got to show you this. Right, winged out. Winged out. Hang on, for full effect. That. On honest Indians, I did no tinkering to that whatsoever. I'm proper made up with that. So listen guys, I'm just going to finish. This is the end for this video. All I've got to do is just add the ailerons. I'm only going to add them when my covering's coming. So I've got some covering on order with some very nice stickers that's going to go on. So the next video is going to be me doing the new fuselage. And so thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you fancy giving me a like and a subscribe, then feel free to. You're never going to get me asking you to buy for a coffee or anything like that. I just, yeah, if you like it, give us a click. And any ideas on this that you've seen, particularly the wing helper, just drop them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.